Here I am at Checkpoint Charlie, the border crossing point after the Second World War between the Russian and the American sectors. And of course, this became the focal point of the Cold War between the two great superpowers, America and the Soviet Union. Decades later, it seems that that rivalry continues in the candidates tournament here in Berlin between Fabiano Caruana from America and Sergei Kuryakin from Russia. They're tied at the top of the tournament as we go into round 13. We're outside the venue of the tournament, Das Kühlhaus. It's an old warehouse built well over 100 years ago to store stuff like fish and meat and to keep it cool. And it has a certain post-industrial chic to it. Well, it used to be a place that was meant to be very cold, but things are really hotting up at the business end of the tournament. We're about an hour into the games, the players just coming out of the opening, and already we can say that Sergei Kuryakin with black against So, he's going to make a draw. Wesley obviously content with the draw, and he's just hoovered the pieces off the board. Fabiano Caruana with white against Aronian has played a Spanish, and that is a very unclear position. I think that could go any way. Really interesting, all the pieces on the board. Then we have Shakhriar Mamedyarov, white against Grushuk. He's maybe a little bit better. He's played a solid fianchetto with white, quite a safe position. Then Ding Liren, white against Kramnik. Now Kramnik has played a kind of hedgehog position, and Ding has thrust his b-pawn forward very early. Not clear to me whether that's good or bad. Sergei, how heavily do you feel the pressure going in tomorrow's game?
Well, I'm actually not thinking too much about tomorrow's game at the moment, because first of all I have to wait how the today's game will finish, because there are at least two or three very important games. First of all, it's Caruana and also Mamedyarov, and then when I will see the tournament situation, then we will start to plan something for tomorrow, but now it's very complicated.
You've remained incredibly cool throughout this tournament in spite of a very difficult start. How do you do it? How do you maintain your cool?
Well, it was very difficult, yes, and the worst and the worst situation at the moment was when I started with two losses with white color, and it was hugely difficult not to start losing all the games, and somehow I'm very happy that I survived at that moment. And then when I won my first game against Wesley, I already felt like, okay, now it's getting better, and then my play improved very much, and okay, now I'm fighting at least.
Thank you.
Well, I know him since he was a child. We played together several times. I think he's a typical product of the Soviet chess school, and that's, I mean, this is something positive. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. Well, he's very well prepared, very serious about chess, very much. He doesn't care almost anything else. He's living for chess. But okay, I mean, psychologically he's also very tough. He was showing his toughness in many different situations. Also his nerves are very good. And that's very important when you play at this high level.
High drama in the game between Fabiano Caruana and Levon Aronian. Aronian under some pressure on the king side, and he sacked a piece, trying to somehow regain the initiative. I think Caruana's better, but the situation is really chaotic. Ding against Kramnik. I like Kramnik's position. He has two minor pieces against a rook, and he's attacking Ding's king side. Looks very promising for Kramnik, but also a very murky situation. In the game between Mamedyarov and Grushuk, I think that's drifting towards a draw. But anyway, we're heading into the time pressure phase, so anything can happen. But what do you think of this piece sacrifice?
It's first of all, it's fantastic. It doesn't matter about evaluation, because it was maybe only chance to create something, because he was much worse by principle, strategically, statically. So he found fantastic dynamics, and I like his game very much, because well, what will happen we will see, because there, well, even with two more pieces, white in some variations are losing because of terrible attack. No, you know, I like games like this.
Fabiano did manage to keep his cool in time pressure and scored a victory, so he bounced into the lead. Incredible result after his defeat in the previous round. With your experience from 2 years ago, do you think that will help you going into the final game?
It's such a different situation. I mean, last time I had to win, and now I don't actually know what I might have to do or won't have to do. But I assume that Sasha will play for a win, try to get a game, and we'll see. I mean, any result could happen. Obviously, a loss can't happen for me, and a draw might not be enough. So it's still a very, very tough situation. But it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, I might not have won today, and then I would have to play for a win with black, which would be a nightmare.
What an extraordinary day we've had here in Berlin. 2 games drawn. Wesley So and Sergei Kuryakin, quick draw. Ding and Kramnik threw it all at each other. That was also a draw, and 2 decisive games. Mamedyarov somehow snuck a win against Grishuk, and Fabiano Caruana defeated Levon Aronian. Even after Aronian sacked that piece, he still had a chance. Do check out my analysis of that. So, the scores at the top. Ding Liren, 7 points. Mamedyarov and Kuryakin, 7.5. And a half point ahead, Fabiano Caruana. Tomorrow, we have the pairings. Aronian against So, that's a dead rubber. Kuryakin against Ding. Kramnik against Mamedyarov. And on this very board, Grishuk with white against Caruana. It'll be the most important game of Caruana's life. He's ahead now. Will he be ahead after the final round? Don't miss it.